Hello and welcome to the Genuine Learning Blog. My name is Melissa Galasso, and today we're going to talk about, no surprise, COVID-19 funding, and in particular a recent AICPA technical Q&A regarding these funds and what is the appropriate accounting. If you remember, last year they issued a TQA very similar to this, talking about PPP loans and what was the appropriate accounting. In that scenario, PPP loans were a little bit unusual in that they were loans, but they were also forgivable. But now we've had some additional items come out and questions about how to treat them. So TQA 5270 was issued in August to address some of this new federal funding, in particular the shuttered grant and the restaurant revitalization fund. And again, for most of these going to for-profit entity, there's no guidance in GAAP for these transactions. We don't have a government assistance recognition and measurement. We're expecting relatively soon government assistance disclosures, but that still doesn't help us with recognition and measurement. So the question that was asked was, how should a recipient account for these shuttered venue operating grants or restaurant revitalization funds that were issued under the COVID-19 relief fund? So again, we're not just have the CARES Act now, we have CAA and ARPA that we have to address. And they're not loans, right? They were never intended to be paid back. They're not required to repay them. So PPP accounting doesn't make sense there because Topic 470 really isn't an option. But the other three that were in the TQA for PPP loans do stick. So again, you can try to use IFRS and their government assistance. You can use 958-605, or you can use gain contingencies. Again, these would be through analogy, not technically exactly on target specifically for nonprofits. It was excluded for profit entities, but it's an option that would be available. For nonprofits, on the other hand, again, they only had two options for PPP loans, 470 or 958-605. They weren't eligible for IFRS or gain contingency, so you say the same thing here. And the expectation is most of these governmental funds, for-profit businesses, are going to use 958-605, and they're going to use this revenue recognition. So again, 958-605 introduces the concept of a barrier in order to recognize revenue. And so obviously you have to incur eligible expenses, the restaurant revitalization and the shuttered grants, very specific on what can be used that funds for. And if you don't use them appropriately, right, the terms and conditions do say that the Small Business Administration can recoup them. So there is the right of return or right of release along with the barrier, making these conditional grants. And so revenue would be deferred until you actually have met those conditions. You've incurred those eligible expenditures. So we're not surprised by this TQA. In fact, if you had asked me prior to this TQA, this is exactly what I would have said, right? You can apply the items that were applicable to PPP loans with the exception of Topic 470 because this was never a loan, right? There is no repayment requirement here. So I think, again, AICPA answering the questions about these new programs that are coming out, trying to make sure people feel pretty comfortable about the accounting and try to reduce diversity in practice up front. In the meantime, the FASB does have an agenda consultation project, and I just want to tout it one more time on the blog. They are asking, do we need government assistance recognition and measurement for-profit entities? Is that something they should work on? Currently, we don't have that section of GAAP. We only have, and it's not even issued yet, the government assistance disclosures that they just finalized. And so this might be an opportunity for FASB to take a deeper dive. So I encourage you to provide FASB some feedback on that invitation to comment for their agenda consultation. But that's it. That's a wrap for today's blog. Again, not a lot of content there, but definitely some very practical what's going on right now in terms of accounting. So thank you so much for joining me on the Genuine Learning Blog, and I hope to see you on a future blog. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.